Hello friends, and welcome to another vlog. This is a Christmassy horror reading vlog, so I'm going to read 4 Christmas horror books, and also you get to see a sneak peek of the decorations that I get to put up. But I just wanted to intro this video and let you know what was going to happen, what we were going to do. I have 4 different kinds of horror books that we are checking out in this vlog. 2 I own physically, 2 are on Kindle Unlimited, 1 is a short story collection, 2 are kind of novella territory, and then the last one is an actual novel. And so I thought that that was a pretty good range of stories, and I feel like they're all pretty different from each other too, so I thought that would make it even more fun and just festive. I really liked doing this vlog, so if you want to see more, because I do have more Christmas horror books that I could read before Christmas time, so if you want to have a vlog similar to this in another week or so, let me know in the comments down below and I can definitely make that happen. So now that all that boring stuff is out of the way, I hope you enjoy this Christmassy horror reading vlog. Hello friends, and welcome to a check-in. I am feeling very festive right now. I have my Krampus sweatshirt on. I have my lights back here. I feel very festive and Christmassy, which is good because I am reading my first Christmas horror book of the season, which is Snow by Ronald Malfi, which I'm very excited about. I am halfway through it right now. This is the first check-in, obviously. I'm like 110 pages in, chapter 16, part 2, and I'm coming in to let you know how I feel about it. Our main character here is Todd. It is Christmas Eve. He is trying to fly to see his son, to spend Christmas with him. He hasn't seen his son in a year, and there is a terrible, terrible, terrible blizzard happening, so his flight gets canceled. And him and some passengers decide to get this Jeep together and drive because they are all going the same way and they want to get home. While they're driving in this horrible, horrible blizzard, they see this strange man walking outside, and they stop because they almost hit him. And when they get out to talk to him, he's a little bit weird, and he has this weird story about how he's looking for his missing daughter, and he's been looking for her out in this blizzard, and his car's broken down. It's like a weird story, and they're a little iffy about it, but they decide to give him a lift, and they end up reaching this small town, and this town is completely abandoned. There is no one around, and some bad things happen when they get to this small town. So my thoughts so far, I don't have too many of them, honestly. It's a pretty short book. I think it's like 200 pages, and I'm like right in the middle, so I've uncovered what's going on, but I'm not too sure how I feel about it, you know? Like, I don't know, like, I can't tell if I like it or if I hate it. Like, I don't think I hate it, but it's taken a direction that I'm not really interested in. It's kind of that subgenre of horror that I'm not really a huge fan of. It's not exactly what I thought it was gonna be, so I'm not loving it, but the atmosphere is pretty good. It takes place during Christmas, you know, it's a snowy, isolated setting horror, which is fun. So I'm willing to see how this ends, but as of right now, it's not higher than like a 3, maybe a 3.5, but overall it's just fine to me. Like, I just, you know, it's okay. Which sucks because I want to love it because it's Ronald Malfi and it sounds really cool. But again, the direction it's been taking and it is now in, I'm just not a huge fan of in horror. So I don't know, I guess we'll see how I feel towards the end, but yeah, it's okay. It's an easy read so far. I definitely will finish it tonight. It's Friday night, so I'll definitely finish it tonight, and then tomorrow I'll probably let you know how I feel about this and what the next book is. So until the next check-in. Hello friends! It's time for an update. It is Saturday. It's almost, I think, 4 p.m. and I want to update you on Snow by Ronald Malfi. So I did indeed finish this last night around 1 in the morning, so I guess technically on Saturday morning, whatever. I still consider it last night because I was not asleep and I didn't go to sleep until 4 in the morning, so it still counts for me. I liked it. Like, I liked the atmosphere. I liked the writing for the most part. I liked, you know, the feeling that it gave me, like the wintry vibes. I liked that. However, the overall plot wasn't really my favorite. Like I said in my last update, it's a type of horror that is not really something I tend to get into. I don't really know how to explain what this book is or like what it's about without giving too much away because it's very weird, and also I feel like it wouldn't make a lot of sense if I tried to explain it anyways. I think I would have a hard time making my words explain what my brain is trying to say. So if you combine the movies Nope and The Mist, I feel like you would get something that equates this. I know that's not very helpful, especially if you've never seen those movies, but honestly, it's a weird plot. It's very strange. And it's bizarre. I don't know how to explain it. So as of right now, I think I'm feeling either a 3 or a 3.5 for this because I did enjoy it to some extent, but it just wasn't my favorite. It just wasn't something that I personally like to read. So, you know, I wanted it to be something different than it was, and unfortunately I didn't get what I wanted. So this is a really pretty cover though. Look at this. Like, look at how cool this looks. It kind of reminds me, not really because it has nothing to do with a snow globe, but it kind of reminds me of the movie Krampus, you know? If you know what I mean, you know what I'm talking about? Okay, it kind of reminds me of this. I don't know why, but that's what it reminds me of. I like the colors. It's pretty, but the story's just, it's just okay to me. It's fine. I think a lot of people will enjoy it more than I did, but I personally just don't like this kind of horror. Also, I am trying to participate in the Christmas Evil Readathon. So for this one, I think I'm going to use it for the prompt Krampus, creature, feature, or monster. It kind of fits it, like a little bit, but honestly it doesn't really fit the other prompts except for Winter Wonderland or set in winter. So I could do that, but most of the books I'm going to read this month are going to be set in winter, so I feel like that's a little bit of a cheat. I think this one fits the Krampus prompt. I mean, look, I'm kind of just trying to make it fit to my own reading, but I think that's what I'm going to use it as, so yes. So next up for the reading vlog is Invitation to Death by Brian Smith. This is on Kindle Unlimited and it's only like 163 pages. I believe Brian Smith writes more like extreme splatterpunk type of horror. Once upon a time, they were the cool kids, the most popular by far in the class of 1999. Then, in senior year, something terrible happened, a tragedy brought about by their shameful behavior one drunken night. A solemn vow was made to never speak of it and never see each other again after graduation. Now, decades later, they've received invitations to an exclusive Christmas Day event at remote Ravens Reach Manor. The lure? A shot at winning $1 million. Once they're together again, bad things start happening. Is this the past finally catching up to them, or something far more sinister? I think this one sounds fun. I like the cover a lot, and I kind of wanted to have a good balance of Kindle Unlimited and like physical books in this vlog. So yeah, I'm excited to read this one. We'll see how it goes, and I'll check in either during the halfway point or when I finish it. It's pretty short, so I might finish it first before I check in, but we'll see. So I will let you all know how it goes. Hello friends and welcome to the update. I am about 54% into Invitation to Death by Bryan Smith. I'm on chapter 16. It is about 10 p.m. and I wanted to do my last check-in probably for tonight. I have a feeling I'll finish the book before bed, but I'll probably update you all in the morning and, well, morning, afternoon once I am more up and like get some stuff done because I have other YouTube stuff I have to do. So this will probably be my last check-in for today, but I actually am really enjoying this book. It's kind of weird because it's following a familiar storyline that I usually see in a thriller. The story is following these people, this group of people who all have like a past together, and something happened in that past and they all got invites to this mansion, and if they come and they follow the directions, they're gonna win $1 million, right? And they all don't know that they're going, but then they get there and they're like, oh my god, it's you, like that's crazy. And then like there's some like ulterior motive to why they're there, right? Like they've been invited because something about their past, right? And that's a very similar storyline that you see in like a locked room, whatever they're called, locked room thriller, mystery. You know what I'm talking about? It's very similar to that, like a storyline that I see in thrillers and mysteries. So it's very, very interesting to see it done in a horror, especially a horror that I'm assuming is going to take a more brutal approach, because this author, Bryan Smith, is known for doing more splatterpunk, and so I'm waiting because nothing really's happened yet. It's more just like the setup, and now that we're in the 50% like mark area, it's gotten a little bit more heated, right? Things are gonna start happening. So I'm interested to see how like brutal it gets, like how bloody, how gory, how, you know, like how verging on extreme or splatterpunk we're gonna go because of the storyline. It feels a little bit like I Know What You Did Last Summer. I mean, I don't know the past of all these people, like I still don't know what like the secret is, but it feels almost similar to that. And it's very weird, but I kind of really like it. Very interested to see what's gonna happen in the rest of the 50% mark. Mark my words, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know how like bloody this is gonna get. I don't know how extreme this is gonna get. I don't know what's gonna happen, but so far it's very interesting. It's very fun. I like it. I mean, it's a good time. I'm having fun with it. It's just kind of funny to see this done in this way, so I am interested to see where it's gonna go. I want to see what the next half of this book, you know, is gonna do. I want to see, because I actually am enjoying it. So I guess that's it for this check-in. I don't have too much to say. Not much has happened. Like I said, it's a lot of setup and there are a lot of characters, so I feel like it's a little bit hard to distinguish, but I am getting the hang of who's who, I think. So yeah, I'm very interested to see what the rest of the book is gonna be. So I guess I'll let you all know when I finish it. Hello friends, it's time for another update. It's Sunday. It's actually like almost 5 p.m. I just got done filming a video, so I haven't had a chance to read yet. But last night I finished Invitation to Death and I'm here to share my thoughts. So it's basically a version of Clue, but just like if it was a horror book. Honestly, that's pretty much what the whole book turned out to be, was just like Clue, but just with like more horror elements to it. It's not that extreme in my opinion, so I think this might not have been an extreme horror or like a splatterpunk from this author. It just seemed like, I mean, there were kills and stuff like that. It was a little bit like gory, I guess, but nothing like too extravagant or nothing too crazy. There were only a few scenes that were a little bit like, whoa, that's a lot of blood, or ooh, that's a little gruesome, you know? But the rest of the book was more, it was more of like a like on the thriller side, like who's behind it, what's happening, what's the mystery. I will say, if you want more of like a thought out plot and like the reasoning behind everything, if you want like a really like thought out kind of explanation, you're not really gonna get it, because honestly, I know it's just not a very like complicated plot. It's pretty simple, and I thought that was kind of fun. Like honestly, it was just a fun book. It was just fun. It wasn't too hard to read, or it didn't make me think too much, or it wasn't like too like over my head. It was just like simple, nice, bloody, killing, you know, a little bit of a mystery, but not really a mystery, to be fair, because the mystery, once it's like revealed, you're kind of like, okay, that's it, all right. But I did think it was a lot of fun. Like, I enjoyed it. It was a good time, and you know, it took place on Christmas, so I think it was just a fun Christmas horror read. On to the next book though. I'm about to start Santa Took Them by William Malmberg. I've had this for a while, and I was supposed to read it last Christmas and I never got around to it, so I'm reading it for this Christmas. I believe this is also a slasher. I'm not quite sure what the plot is. It says, Christmas Eve, 2005. 8-year-old Michelle Harper is the only survivor in a horrific massacre that has left her 4 siblings decapitated, and her mother slowly dying as her innards ooze out onto the 2nd floor landing. The words "Santa took them" written in blood on the bedroom wall. Fun. 10 years later, having been released from a psychiatric hospital for children, Michelle disappears. Her uncle and his girlfriend found hacked to death with a knife before being decapitated. The words "Santa took them" once again written in blood on the wall. And then I guess people are just gonna start dying. It's just gonna be like a thing. So maybe it's the final girl, the lone survivor, or whoever did it is back doing it again. Who knows? I guess I'll find out when I read it. But this is my next read. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I don't know what I'm using Invitation to Death for the Christmas Evil reading prompts, because I feel like Santa Took Them is gonna go for Sleigh Bells, which is a slasher, but Invitation to Death was also kind of a slasher. So I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. So I guess I'll have to see what this book is first, and if I can use both of them on the bingo board or not. So that's my update. I will update you when I'm halfway through the book.
Happened. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. My neighbors compete to see who can put up more blinding lights.
Hello friends, and happy Monday. It's about 3 p.m. and I have a lot to do today. I read last night, I got about halfway into Santa Took Them. It feels very B-movie like. It kind of reminds me of Silent Night, Deadly Night, if you've ever seen that Christmas horror movie slasher. This is kind of familiar to that. I don't know how I feel about it. I have some like things that I haven't super loved about it. I'm afraid that this book is taking a direction that I'm not going to love, but we'll see. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm only halfway through. Like, I am on page 154, and I think it's like about 300 pages. So, you know, I'm gonna give it some time. Maybe I'm gonna judge it too harshly, and maybe I need to just like relax. So we'll see. If it does go the direction that I think it will, I'm gonna be annoyed. The other like complaints I have, I guess they're not really that, well, one's not big complaint, the other is, but the one complaint is there's some like sex scenes in here, and we know I love some smut, but I think because it's written by a man, I'm just not enjoying it. It's very weird, and like the descriptors used and like the verbiage is just strange. So the sex scenes were a little just bizarre. I was laughing at them. 2, this one is way more serious, and honestly, I'm more disappointed in this, but the disappointing thing is that I did see the N slur used, and I'm not very happy about that at all. So this is not a book that has to do with racism. It's just being used as a slur for no real reason, and I don't like that. I don't know how I feel about this book. It's fine, it's silly, it's over the top, it's kind of stupid, and I feel like I know where the book is going, so fingers crossed that it doesn't go that direction, because I think I'm going to be really annoyed. One cool thing about this is the doctor in this book, Samantha Loomis, is obviously kind of an ode to Dr. Loomis from the Halloween movies, which I like because I'm a big fan of Halloween and I liked Dr. Loomis, so I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. I'm probably gonna finish it tonight, but I have editing to do. I have a lot of editing to do, so that's priority number 1, and I'm gonna do that now. So I'll probably read for like a little itty bitty bit and then go straight into editing because yeah, it's 3 p.m. and I need to get this done because this video is going up tomorrow. So hello friends and happy Tuesday. So I had a busy day yesterday and I didn't really check in because I was editing and doing a whole bunch of other like YouTube related stuff. So I didn't get a chance to read until like everything was done, so around like 8-9 p.m. But I did finish Santa Took Them, and I have to be honest, I didn't really like this. Going off of how I felt about it when I first started it on, I think it was Sunday, right? Yeah. So Sunday I started this and I wasn't mad at it. Like, I felt like it was gonna be like a 3-star, right? Like, it wasn't great. I wasn't loving it, but by the time I finished, I was over this book, and so I do think I'm gonna give this 2 stars. But let me tell you some of the reasons why I didn't really love this. This is a slasher, which we know I love slashers. I'm a big slasher fan. I just think they're so much fun. But my biggest issue with slasher books is if you're going to skimp on the plot, if you're gonna make a slasher book have a very like not good plot, you're just not going to really take the time to think it out or think through it, or you know, just like really do anything thoughtful with it. At least make the kills really good. And this, I don't know, they were like kind of gory but not really. Like, they were just like subpar kills in my opinion, and If you're gonna have a bad plot, at least make the kills good, and this didn't do either. So, like I said in the last update, the sex scenes in this book are so cringy. Like, they're not good. Like, they're just like bizarre sex scenes. This was just kind of bleh to read. Like, it was just weird. Like, I literally read out the sex scenes to Justin and was like, does this even sound fun? Like, does this sound like good? And it's just, it doesn't. Like, it's just weird. As someone who loves smut, this was not doing it for me. The plot twist is extremely predictable. I said in my other update that I had a feeling I knew where this was going and I was gonna be mad about it, and I did predict it. I knew the book was only gonna go two ways, and both of them weren't really that good in my opinion, but it did go the one way that I was fairly certain it was gonna go. It was just really predictable. When you think about it logically, and I know slashers aren't like logical, I know it's a book, I know it's fiction, but like when you really think about how this book goes, it's not plausible. I'm sorry, you cannot tell me that this feels realistic. And I know it's a slasher, I know, okay, but I'm just saying, at least make it a little bit more realistic. No, it just wasn't. I'm sorry. You can't tell me this would have happened in real life. I don't believe it for half a second. The dialogue is super weird and kind of just like, again, cringy. It just doesn't feel real. It just feels like it's been written by someone. Like, it doesn't feel like natural dialogue, and I couldn't handle some of the conversations, and like the way things were being said was just so stupid and weird to me that I was like, okay, no. The halfway point of the book, like from beginning to halfway, it was fine. Like, I wasn't mad about it, but then from halfway to the end, it just got more ridiculous and more stupid, and I couldn't handle it. Like I said, this is like a B horror movie, and it's not my kind of slasher. You can definitely tell that the author really enjoys slasher movies, and that like they definitely took inspiration from some, especially like Halloween. The doctor in this book is Dr. Samantha Loomis, which has obviously been inspired by Dr. Loomis from the Halloween series, and to me this does feel similarly to like Silent Night, Deadly Night, plus like Halloween, like combined together, which I enjoy those movies. I really did. Like, I don't dislike them. Obviously, I'm a big Halloween fan, but it just felt like a knockoff of those and not like its own unique slasher book. So for me, I just wasn't like a huge fan of this. I just thought it was silly, and I personally didn't care for any of it. The next book, though, is a Kindle Unlimited short story collection, and this is Horror Stories to Ruin Christmas. And from what I can tell, this is like a bunch of short stories that are connected. What it says on Goodreads, it says 26 authors combined their talents to tell the horrifying story of Serenity Falls, Wisconsin. Piece by piece, the unsettling truth is revealed, culminating in a dark secret far bigger than any single writer's imagination. So it sounds like each author is going to write a short story, but they're all going to be connected and like tell a bigger story, I guess, is how it sounds to me. Interests me because I love when short stories connect. I don't know how I feel about them being written by different authors. Usually when I see connected short stories, they're written by one singular author. So I'm very interested to see if it's gonna feel, I don't know if it's gonna work or if it's gonna feel weird or like disconnected, disjointed. It does say by best-selling No Sleep authors, so I am a big fan of Reddit No Sleep, and that intrigues me a lot as well. The cover's really cool, and I do love short story collections, and I don't know, I think this could be fun. It's on Kindle Unlimited, so why not give it a chance? I'm excited to try it. So that is what I'm going to be reading next, and it is the last book for this reading vlog, so I will update you around the halfway point. Maybe I might just finish the whole thing and see how I feel about it. I guess we'll see how it goes when I start reading it, but that is what I'm going to be reading now, and I will update you when I get a chance. Hello my friends and welcome to the last check-in. It is Wednesday. I have to edit this video for you all, so I'm running a little low on time. Also, I'm wearing the same shirt I wore earlier in the vlog. It's clean, okay? No one say anything. It's a clean shirt, I promise, okay? So, I finished Horror Stories to Ruin Christmas last night, / earlier this morning. I think it was like 12:30 or something like that. I wanted to love this so badly. I really did. Because I think the idea is really, really cool. 26 authors, each telling a story that all connects into like a bigger story, you know? I have this problem a lot with short story collections that feature multiple authors, and that's just that they feel disjointed because each author has a different writing style. They have different like subgenres that they're good at, and so it just never really feels like they're flowing or like that they feel similar enough. They feel weird and like disconnected, you know? I knew off the bat that having a short story collection that is like one giant story but each author telling a small story, you know what I mean? I knew that that was gonna be a hard feat for this collection. And it doesn't really work. Some of the stories are really good, like some of them are really well written and I liked the flow of them and I liked the pacing and I liked the idea, but then another story would come along and they would try to add upon that story or add upon another character that's mentioned because all of the characters are in all the stories pretty much. Like they're all featured at one point or another. And so it gets really confusing. I forgot a lot of the characters. I couldn't tell who was who apart because honestly they just all get really confusing. I just didn't know who was who. Two, some of the stories aren't as well written, like the sentencing is choppy, the storytelling's just not quite there, and then some of the stories are super confusing. Like, they're supposed to be adding on to the story and like expanding upon to get to the bigger story, and I had no idea what was going on. And I'm gonna tell you by the end of the short story collection, I don't know what the bigger picture was. I don't know what the story was trying to really convey. It was just really confusing to me personally. I just didn't really get it. Another thing is, none of these stories really had to do with Christmas. Like the titles of the stories have to do with Christmas, but the stories itself doesn't have anything to do with Christmas. Like it's kind of mentioned briefly in passing, but they have no like, you know, evil Santas or like, you know, like Christmas related things happening. Like they're not really Christmassy. So I feel like the title is also a little bit misleading, Stories to Ruin Christmas, when you could read them any time of the year and you would still probably get the same feeling because they don't have that much to do with Christmas. So for me, this collection was just not a hit and I really wanted to like it, but I think the idea is great, but the execution was just not quite there. And I love connected short story collections. Like I love when each story connects to the other. Like I truly love that. But I think when you have 26 authors, it's gonna be hard because all the writing styles are just so different and their storytelling is just so different. So personally for me, this collection didn't work out. I think a lot of people will enjoy it and I've seen some really positive reviews on Goodreads for it, but for me, it was just a confusing mess. The stories didn't really get there for me, and I think the overall story that it was trying to tell just it wasn't really impactful because it was just so confusing. So I'm really upset about it because I wanted to like this a lot and I think the idea is really cool, but it needed more editing, it needed more, I don't know what it needed, to be honest, but it needed something because it didn't work. Okay, so for the Christmas Evil reading prompts, I managed to knock off Sleigh Bells for Slasher, which I am going to use Invitation to Death for because I didn't like Santa Took Them, so I'm just going to use that one. And then Krampus, which is Creature Feature or Monster, which I'm using for Snow by Ronald Malfi. I feel like the other two, I don't know, I don't feel like they really fit into the other categories, so I'm just gonna like kick them off and hopefully find other books that fit the other prompts because I don't think the other two really fit. And also, I already have a slasher, so Santa Took Them is just like irrelevant for me. So yeah, this is the end of the reading vlog where I read 4 horror Christmas stories, books, collections, whatever, all of the above, and I tell you what I think about them. And I had a lot of fun. Not all of them were the best, but you know, it was fun to knock off some from my TBR and stuff like that. And maybe I can help you decide if you want to check any of these out. Me being the guinea pig and trying it out first and letting you know if it's worth it or not. If you enjoyed this vlog and you want to see another Christmas horror reading vlog, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you've read any of these and if you enjoyed them. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We can become friends, talk about books, horrific books, thrilling books, romance books, manga, all that fun stuff. And with that being said, I hope you are having a great day, night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!